Hello and welcome to episode 18 of this week's Roundup. Let's do it. And we'll start off this week with some sports news. Just after last week's episode went out, Liverpool managed to clinch the title after winning 5-1 against Ange Postecoglou's Spurs team. Not as good as Celtic's 5-0 win to win the league, but you know, it's good enough. And with that, leaving Arsenal in second place for the third consecutive season. Both the Scottish and English championships were rounded up this week, with Falkirk making it their second promotion in a row after a tight battle with Livingston all the way down to the last game of the season, and sealing their place in the top flight next season. And down in England, Leeds won their championship, securing their promotion alongside Burnley. And for the sixth time in a row, Chelsea became the Women's Super League champions. Bayern Munich's title celebrations are going to be delayed after a Leipzig's literally last second minute goal finished the game 3-3, leaving them to have a little bit of a delay to their title parties. And this week in F1, it is a sprint weekend in Miami. Kimi Antonelli managed to put his car on pole during sprint qualifying, with a superb drive from the 18-year-old, setting a new track record. Lined up behind him was the two McLarens of Norris and Piastri, followed by Max Verstappen. But moving into the sprint race after a 28-minute delay due to the track literally being a swimming pool basically, and Charles Leclerc putting his car into the wall, which means he did not race in the sprint race, we got racing and into turn 1, once again Oscar Piastri, and a little bit of a tussle into turn 1, pushed Kimi Antonelli off track, where they pushed him off track, whatever. The car was pushed off the track, whether it's his fault or not, you know what I mean. Dropping Kimi Antonelli down to 4th place just behind Verstappen. And that left the two McLarens out in front once again. I've been saying that quite a lot this season. But after quite an exciting race, we had Sainz clipping the wall, leaving debris all over the track. We had Liam Lawson attempt to assassinate Alonso. But after all of that, the biggest incident of the day was Verstappen being released too early into the path of Kimi Antonelli. Now, for the Drive to Survive people who don't actually know that much about Formula 1, and were blaming Max Verstappen for this incident, Verstappen is surrounded in a pit crew. He literally cannot see. He can look in the mirrors, but he can't see any cars. All he can see is people standing around these cars. It is purely down to the pit light to release him. Once that light goes green, Max goes. He can't go and look around him and all that. And that brings us on to our new segment, our of the week. And picking up our of the week trophy this week is Jamie McMullen. Jamie said, typical Verstappen, anything to make sure someone else doesn't win. And after the public correctly correcting him, he came out and said he's the one driving the car. Yep, well done, Jamie. You have successfully picked up our of the week trophy. But in the end, assisted by the safety car, Lando Norris managed to take home the sprint race win, followed by teammate Oscar Piastri and Lewis Hamilton picking up that last podium place. And with that, it takes us to race qualifying, where Max Verstappen managed to bounce back and get that pole position after a superb lap, followed by Lando Norris and then Kimi Antonelli. Piastri slotted his car into 4th place, and both Williams, making it into Q3, managed to line up 6th and 7th, continuing their very good run at the start of this season. And Lewis Hamilton's car will be starting in 12th after failing to make Q3. And last little bit of sporting news, it is Derby Day here in Glasgow, where Rangers are hosting champions Celtic, for which hopefully will be a good way to round off the season for Celtic. I've probably not finished editing this before the game, so I'll need to go and finish editing it after the game, so I will put up the scores here. Or I might not, it depends. Moving on, and firefighters made their way to the Vatican this week to install the chimney in the Sistine Chapel. This chimney is used in the voting process for electing a new pope, which will begin on Wednesday. And many fans across the world are left devastated this week after Rockstar Games announced that the highly anticipated GTA 6 game, which was scheduled to come out later on this year, will not be getting released this year. The new schedule for the game to be released is the 26th of May 2026. But it is understandable why they've done this, because a game with so much anticipation around it, you know, it needs to be right. You can't rush these things. So, you know, I accept it is what it is. And a little fun fact, GTA 6 has cost more and taken more time to produce than the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. This game has cost more than building that building, and it's took longer than building that building. This better be a good game. And on Friday, a 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck just off the coast of Chile and Argentina. The quake was recorded 6 miles deep into the ocean and 136 miles off the coast of Argentina. But this did cause a tsunami warning, and residents on the coastal areas of Chile and Argentina were forced to evacuate ahead of this tsunami warning. Thankfully though, nothing came of the tsunami and the evacuations were ceased. And a car-sized half-ton piece of rocket is expected to come crashing back down onto Earth on the 10th of May, after 53 years in orbit. Cosmos 482 was designated to land on Venus after being launched from the USSR's spaceport in 1972. But the upper stage of the rocket failed during launch, and that has left the probe orbiting Earth for the last 53 years. Once it re-enters the Earth's atmosphere, it will burst into a ball of fire, and by the time it comes to colliding with Earth, it's expected to be going at around a couple hundred miles an hour. Now, they can't predict exactly where this is going to come crashing into the Earth, but they have managed to narrow it down to a certain area. And that area is right between Chile and Scotland. So, if the channel goes quiet for a while, it's probably because I've been hit by a fucking rocket. Apple announced this week that their devices sold in the US will no longer come from China as they battle the tariffs imposed by Trump's government. The iPhones will now be mainly distributed from India, with iPads coming from Vietnam. Assuming Trump's policies don't change, Apple CEO Tim Cook said that tariffs could impose $677 million in extra costs during this current quarter. And our last story of the week, Irish rap trio Kneecap will be investigated by counter-terror police. This is regarding 2 videos taken from music events filmed in 2023 and 2024, where they allegedly said, "Kill your MP," "Up Hamas," and "Up Hezbollah." They have had gigs cancelled, but are still set to play at Glastonbury, with the booker that booked them for Glastonbury coming out and defending them with a post on social media. But we will see where this goes in the coming weeks. But that is all for this week. You know what? I think it's going to be quite a short episode this week, so we'll have 2 clips of the week.
Are you scared? Why is it Auntie Sanchez coming?
The smell.
It's a penis.
You need to hold it down. You're going to try and film me jumping on it.
Yeah.
Oh! That wasn't a good idea, Imogen. That wasn't a good idea.
Your glasses are broken.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and you can go and follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I've started posting a bit more on TikTok. You'll see the exact same videos posted on YouTube as well as shorts, but go and follow me on TikTok, go and follow me on Instagram. Have a wonderful week next week, and I'll see you again next Sunday at 5 PM. And we are rolling. Episode 18. Action. That is a wrap. And cut.
Stand your toes, can always climb with a candle go.